It was for these reasons that we decided that we would also dedicate this festival to Sharmila Lele and also think about that other Sharmila in Manipur, the Iron Lady of Manipur, who is on fast for so many years, and think about both of them today and we dedicate this festival to them.
In that sense, as we know, most of us, and so even not only in Pune, but even at the center, even in the university, we know that what we know about Northeast is little, but not just because of our ignorance, but it is what we know is also in that sense it comes from myths, stereotypes and rhetorics and binaries, and therefore we feel that this dialogue and this discussion would definitely help us.
For us, the Northeast has always been, in the last years, a very it's really a strong focus in our work.
Issues that resonate in the Northeast, but which are, for lack of a better idea or phrase, universally relevant. They echo across our country, across people who are far away, for they represent individual and collective concerns which reflect the lives of many people.
And why is it that writings from the Northeast, all the states together, why is it that theatre, why is it that the music is creating such an impact? Because it takes the raw suffering, the raw injustice, the raw inhumanity of what is going on and uses it as that material. I think the strength comes from the rawness.
Person in Kashmir, particularly men, are a suspect. They are suspected to be militants unless they prove that they are not. And how do you prove that you are not one? Women are suspected because they have husbands, brothers, sons and whoever. As somebody who has come from India and entered rest of India, I should say, and came into Kashmir, I realized what a fundamental change I went through, because it really shook me and I had to re-question, rethink everything from state to the army to the role of certain policies that are implemented, because if these are our own people, then you don't treat them as you treat them now, worse than human beings and subhuman beings mean.
I guess you are aware about this case which happened in 2006. During that time, Buddhists in Maharashtra were celebrating 50 years of Dhamma revolution, and during the same day, the Buddhist family 60 kilometers away from that celebration were paraded naked, raped and killed. The daughter was the bride student from that village. She was an NCC cadet. She was the first among the village to pursue the education, and that was a horrifying night for all of us. Now we are trying to document all of the cases throughout India where from fact finding till trial, not only those cases will be documented, and I appeal to all of you to visit that site and also to write back to us if you found any flaws.
I myself, on 4th November 2008, I was having a lunch together with my husband, and after some time my husband was in the local with his friend, and after some time in the afternoon he called me in the phone and told me that he was apprehended and informed the SP to secure his release. So what happened? We went, my family members went to the police station, asked about his whereabouts. In the very day itself, in the 9 local news network, I saw my dead husband's body with a hand grenade placed next to him. And after that, the SI who the SI go to the police station and give the FIR himself. No investigating officer, no. So everything is happening in Manipur. So many fake encounters happen. So in every day there are 2 or 3 killings in the newspaper headlines.
We talk a lot about the armed forces special powers after the human rights movement, and we do it because it is just such an egregious law, such a symbol of hate now, because it's become it represents so much of people getting away with murder, literally. But there is involuntary, and I think when we talk about, to go back to basics, if we are here to talk about peace, then we have to address the violence, because we wouldn't be talking peace if there wasn't violence. So let's talk about violence first. Why does it exist, and why do these conflicts exist? And unfortunately, we find that in most cases, a violent armed rebellion, armed repression of UGs in Manipur, or any of these groups, the Maoists, the militants in Kashmir, at which point do they choose to take up guns? There has to be a moment